This is some reports coming out of Texas. The former Texas quarterback, former offensive coordinator, now the head coach of the Houston Cougars. The Houston Chronicle reporting that Major Applewhite will take over the Cougars program. What's your reaction to that news?
Yeah, there was some, the Houston athletic director, president, and boosters were kind of pushing back on the Kiffin report yesterday. Maybe it just wasn't quite done, and they decided they didn't want to make the move. I don't know. When Tom Herman left, I thought that they would promote from within, but I thought that would probably be Todd Orlando, the defensive coordinator. So, and both of those guys were candidates. So, Major Applewhite makes sense. Houston's offense has been, great the past few years, and Applewhite's learned from Tom Herman. So, I'm kind of surprised because it sounded like they were trying to go for an outside hire. When Kiffin was mentioned, Les Miles was mentioned, but maybe they think Applewhite will stay longer than Herman did. They're a team that's they've lost a lot of coaches who have come and gone and kind of used it as a jumping off point. Maybe they think they can keep Applewhite for a little bit longer than they've kept some of these other coaches. A guy, a state of Texas guy who has been on that staff now, and you can't argue really with keeping some continuity when Houston has, gone to the Peach Bowl last year. They beat Oklahoma. They beat Louisville this year. They've had a lot of success. It's hard to argue against continuity, and maybe they don't want to take that risk with Lane Kiffin. So I am a little bit surprised. I seemed like Kiffin was going to be the guy. Everything had seemed to be moving that way. But, from the start, I thought they would promote from within. It's just the other side of the ball. I thought it might be Todd Orlando, but hard to argue against continuity when you've been having so much success. So I think it's a fine choice for Houston, and Applewhite's probably deserving of a shot at the head coaching job at this point.
Now, do you know, Matt, was Applewhite slated to join Herman in Austin if this hadn't happened? And keep in mind, Major Applewhite is a former Texas quarterback.
Well, he's been there before. It sounded like he probably was not going to. I'm not.
He was there under Mac Brown, right?
Yeah, and so if to get this is a great job. If Houston thinks they can keep him, for longer than they kept Herman, it's a great move for them. But it is also, like I said, a great jumping off point and a great audition for up and coming coaches. And we've seen several coaches use it to land bigger jobs. And if you want to have success, this is as good of a group of five job as there is, and it's a better job, I think, than like even an Iowa State or a Purdue or those lower level big jobs. This is probably a better job, sure. And because it's easier to have success and to get noticed. So for Applewhite, or if it was going to be Orlando, but if it's Applewhite, I mean that's a home run, I think, to kind of get promoted and take this job and get your first shot as a head coach. It's a great opportunity to prove yourself.
Yes, and now we're hearing that the University of Houston has confirmed the hiring of Major Applewhite to be their next head coach to replace Tom Herman there with the football program. So we'll have more details and reaction to this coming up later here on 120.